In this film, we are going to look at the commercial value of cannabis sativa. It should be noted that cannabis is presently referred to as marijuana by today's governments. It should also be noted that in most languages, hemp means a fibrous plant used to make rope. While it is true that true hemp is cannabis, in today's linguistics, hemp means many things. In this film, when we use the word hemp, we mean Cannabis sativa L, or other agronomical varieties of the genus Cannabis. For purposes of clarity, we will not look at the pharmaceutical aspects of this plant. When we refer to the commercial applications, it may be clearer to think of industrial or product-producing capabilities. Hemp is a remarkable plant. In the making of this film, many facts were uncovered about this very capable plant. Hemp is capable of increasing the productivity of the American economy and at the same time improving the quality of the environment. This fact will become clear during this film. In the early 1900s, experiments on hemp, along with other farm crops, showed that they had the ability to produce many more products than were currently being manufactured from them. In the case of cannabis, the products that were manufactured from hemp were limited. At the same time, methods of production were increasing. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, in a bid to help the farmer find new markets for his products, sponsored experiments in alternative raw materials from farm waste to manufacture products. We are going to examine several of the thousands of viable applications to which parts of the hemp plant can be applied. Much of the information about hemp's commercial applications was obtained from U.S. government records. Due to time constraints, we will examine those uses that will have the most drastic effects on economy and the environment, while at the same time remaining economically practical. In order to understand the commercial value of the cannabis plant, we must first understand the makeup of the plant itself. The plant is essentially made up of leaf, seed, flowers, and stalks. In this presentation, we will be examining the use of the stalks and the seed in the production of commercial products, and the use of the plant as a green natural fertilizer. The stalks are essentially made up of 20 to 40% fiber and 60 to 80% celluloid herds. There is a small amount of lignin, but for most applications this is insignificant. The seeds are essentially made up of a hull and germplasm. The plasm has a high oil content between 40 and 50% by weight, and a similar content of protein. The stalks of the cannabis plant can be used to manufacture many different materials, from the production of plastics to methanol fuel, from the production of wood products. One of the most useful products that can be made from cannabis is paper. In the production of paper from trees, many harmful chemicals are used. Chemicals like chlorine and sulfuric acid. These chemicals produce many harmful side effects, including dioxin, sulfur, air pollution, water pollution, and soil contamination. In addition, the deforestation that is conducted to supply the raw materials results in harmful side effects like erosion, extinction, and habitat destruction. Using hemp, that age-old standby, we can eliminate all of these harmful effects on the environment and add billions to the farm economy in the process. With current rates of production that are evident in other countries producing hemp, the U.S. farm economy could reap a minimum of $20 to $30 billion per year in the production of hemp for paper. Additionally, we would not be required to reduce the production of other crops such as corn, soybeans, or wheat. We would only need to plant slightly more than 1/2% of the available farmland to supply the U.S. with all of its paper requirements. By utilizing hemp as a paper source, as our forefathers did, it would effectively stop all deforestation required to produce paper for the United States. Methanol fuel for transportation. Everyone agrees that one of the greatest threats to our national security is our dependence on foreign sources of oil for the production of fuel. Yet again, we have been given the opportunity to make ourselves energy secure, not by relying on a non-renewable substance such as coal, oil, or natural gas, not by relying on questionable safety with nuclear power, not by relying on future technology such as solar, wind, steam, or cold fusion, but by going back to the basics of farm-produced energy. The first internal combustion engines were designed to be run on methanol produced from farm wastes. Hemp herds were such a farm waste. Current technology exists to produce from 1 acre of hemp the equivalent of 20 barrels of oil in the form of methanol fuel or charcoalized materials. With modifications to current engines, most cars would run on methanol. Currently, there is not enough material abundant enough to supply the United States' needs for fuel production. That is, unless you legalize the production of cannabis hemp. It is evident that cannabis is the only plant that can be grown cheap enough and in enough quantity to supply our fuel needs. Because the requirements for supply are severe, hemp for fuel would need to be grown in regions where the maximum quantities per acre are produced. For the United States to be able to remove the transportation sector of our fuel needs from reliance upon petroleum, we would need to dedicate 50 million acres to hemp. Again, this would not affect any other crops that are currently being grown. We would only need 1/2 of 1% of the available farmland to fuel our cars and trucks with hemp-based methanol. This would, in turn, generate some $30 to $40 billion for the farm economy and reduce, if not eliminate, our dependence on touchy foreign oil sources. The environment would also benefit from the switch to methanol and farm-based fuels. When petroleum products are burned, many products are given off. In most cases, lead, carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, water vapor, and other trace elements. When methanol fuels are burned, the byproducts are carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, water vapor, and a few trace elements. With petroleum products, the carbon and sulfur dioxides have been trapped and taken out of the life cycle millions of years ago. To burn them releases them back into the cycle, and this overburdens the cycle. When you make methanol from plant material grown in the cycle, the carbon that is released during burning is taken up by the plants during cultivation. This closes the cycle. Hemp is a remarkable plant in a particular aspect of its growth. Being a member of one of the highest orders of plants, it removes tremendous amounts of CO2 from the air during its growth. There is evidence to lead us to believe that if hemp were to be used for fuel production, it would remove more greenhouse gases during cultivation than would be given off when burned as a fuel. This is in part because a large percentage of the crop, the leaves, fall off during growth and are replaced by new ones. Additionally, when the crop is harvested, a sizable percentage of the crop, the root system, remains behind as a natural fertilizer and erosion controller. Hemp as a food source. Hemp seed was once a major part of human and animal diets. During the Dark Ages, peasants lived on hemp seed's high nutritional value. In addition, the oils were used much like we use sunflower, corn, or other vegetable oils today in cooking. Hemp seed is high in protein. In fact, the only other plant to produce more is the soybean. But hemp seed, unlike soybean, has a higher content of digestible protein. Hemp seed also contains ingredients called essential fatty acids. Like the name implies, they are essential to proper body functioning. They mainly affect the immune system's functioning capabilities. Without an ample supply of essential fatty acids in your diet, your immune system doesn't function as it should. This allows you to contract disease more readily and take longer to cure. Unfortunately, the sterilized hemp seed that is available today has been reduced by sterilization to a barely usable substance. In some cases, the sterilized seed has been deadly to small animals after it had turned rancid. With the removal of cannabis seed from the Controlled Substances Act, we could assist doctors in the fight against disease and malnutrition by utilizing hemp seed's capabilities. Hemp seed would be a valuable addition to the animal feed we currently use. Currently, we use a lot of hormones to fatten faster, to get to market quicker, in order to make it profitable for the farmer to produce food. By using hemp seed in the animals' diets, the high protein and essential fatty acids would do naturally what hormones and medications do artificially. This would also open the doors that have been shut to American meat products overseas because of our current production methods. If hemp seed were to be cultivated as a food source, it could generate an untold sum of revenues for the American farmer. Estimates vary from $5 to $10 billion annually just from the animal feed side of hemp seed production. The human food side of the equation could double that. Hemp is one of the strongest, most durable, most absorbent, underutilized fibers known to modern man. In the production of our most utilized fiber, cotton, we need to use over 50% of all of the pesticides, herbicides, and fertilizers that are produced. This in turn produces very detrimental effects on the environment like agricultural runoff. Cotton, though it's a natural fiber, can hardly be called natural when you figure in the unnatural material used to produce the crop. Hemp, on the other hand, requires no fertilizers, no herbicides, or pesticides to produce the crop. Cotton has a drinking problem. It likes lots of water. In the former Soviet Union, they have literally sucked an ocean dry to fulfill cotton's thirst. Hemp, in most regions, does not require additional water. Of course, in arid or dry regions, water would be necessary to grow anything, including hemp. If hemp were to replace cotton, the farm economy would reap a benefit. The first benefit would be a reduction in the cost of producing fiber. As hemp doesn't require the chemicals and water cotton requires, it's cheaper to produce. The second benefit would be a reduction of farm runoff. Again, no chemicals, no pollution. Because hemp is cheaper to produce, its cost would be lower than that of cotton. This in turn would reduce the cost of materials made from hemp fiber, which in turn would spur the economy forward with additional expendable income for further purchases, spurring the economy even further. The value of hemp to the farm economy as a fiber source would be approximately $10 to $20 billion annually. We have looked at only 4 of the 50,000 possible uses for hemp. What have we learned? First, hemp will be worth in excess of $100 billion annually to the U.S. farm economy. Second, that for the commercial cultivation of hemp, only 1 to 5% of the available farmland will be necessary, and the cultivation of hemp will not interfere with the production of other farm products. Third, that the products made from hemp will be produced using far less chemicals and far less environmentally damaging techniques. Fourth, products made from hemp will be less expensive and in most cases last longer than currently produced products. Fifth, and probably most important, it makes good sense. Throughout history, the farmer and the lands have been a means of producing profit. The farmer has, for thousands of years, produced the food, the fuel, the fiber, the medicine. Today, the farmer is relegated producing food and some fiber, all at below the cost of production. It's no wonder the farmers are going out of business. In times past, when the prices or conditions forced a reduction in revenue from one crop, the farmer could rely on another, in a way, to sort of subsidize the other crop. If the food crop went bad, the fiber or the fuel crop could be profitable, or vice versa. Today, when the farm crop goes bad, the government subsidizes the farmer. This causes our taxes to be raised to pay for it. The farmer spends more time filling out forms for government assistance than he does farming anymore. The time has come to put an end to this insane madness. The time has come to let the farmers produce the food, the fuel, the fiber, the medicine. It's time to let the farmers produce cannabis sativa, hemp.